Welcome back, everyone, to the show of Requirement, a Harry Potter podcast streaming everywhere you get podcasts and also on YouTube. I'm your host, David Gonzalez, and I'm joined by my very good friends, Spencer Price and Cole Harris. How are you guys doing?
Hello.
I'm so great.
Yeah.
Making it happen, fatherhood,
Mhm.
not just around the corner, pretty much straight ahead in front of me. So
Yeah.
but I'm excited. And I've also been having a really good time with this book.
Yeah. I thought about this today, actually, while I was thinking about us recording. And I was like, what if Isabel goes into labor? First of all, happy birthday, Isabel, while we're recording.
Happy birthday, Isabel.
and
I'll just quietly go.
Yeah, man. But today we are covering chapters 25 through 30 of the Goblet of Fire, which is...
Woo!
This section was really good.
This is the best one yet.
I think so. I had a lot of fun reading this. This one's the one where I read straight through. Like, I didn't pause really. I read it all pretty much on the same day, and if not, I finished it yesterday while doing some yard work, listening to the audio.
Yeah, exactly. Jim Dale was batting 1,000 for this part of the book.
Yeah,
agreed. Now that I'm listening to the audiobooks.
Yes, in the right way. Cole finally, he's listening to Jim Dale instead of someone on YouTube. Which is fantastic.
Jim Dale's always good, but man, was he cooking in this section.
Yeah.
So many new voices to add and voices to switch back and forth, and goodness gracious. But there's some meaty chapters in here. We're finally getting into the what's this book about? And we know because we've read the plot twist, or the big reveal at the end before. So it's fun to see that connective tissue, but there's just a lot here.
Yeah.
And the second task while we're at it.
Yeah. That was a huge section too. So obviously where we left off, chapter 25, the egg and the eye, this chapter is all about Harry taking the golden egg, the Marauder's map, his invisibility cloak, going to the prefect's bathroom, where we get an amazing description. This is one of the scenes that I think they did really well in the film, also, of having the prefect bathroom come to life. I thought that they did a really good job in showing us what this room was supposed to be. And it's pretty much mostly the same. Moaning Myrtle comes in, joins him in the water in a very creepy and only the way the Myrtle can, really, in this section. But
okay, tell me though, the prefects are supposed to be the goody two shoes, keeping the rules and stuff. Tell me the prefects weren't having party after party in this bathroom.
I mean,
I'm not saying they're getting frisky. I'm just saying it's a swimming pool with magic fountains. They can put their trunks on, but I'm just saying they can have their trunks on. I'm just saying there's no way. Also, Malfoy becomes a prefect, I think. So, yeah, of course they're going to do that. They're all rebellious teenagers.
I think I would disagree only because, to me, you have to be a certain person to be a prefect. You have, pretty much a character like Percy Weasley. He's a prefect, head boy, all this kinds of stuff, to where they're kind of sticklers to the rules. I mean, Malfoy, I think, is a great example of this not being the case. But I could also see Malfoy. I could also see Malfoy and even Ron just being like, no, this is a privilege that I'm going to keep all to myself. I'm not going to share this with anybody.
I don't think Ron wouldn't use it. I don't think he ever does. I don't think he probably
would. Right.
Not that it's been revealed necessarily. We'll find out through this read if he ever does. But that's my headcanon. I think Bill was a prefect.
Yeah.
My follow-up question, I thought prefects were just fifth years, but then people continue to be prefects after that. So are they prefects 5th through 7th year?
I think maybe you could, because you only have one head boy and head girl, right, for your house.
Right.
So I think it'd be like everybody else then would be a prefect, and maybe you can have
because Cedric is a prefect.
You can have specific amount of prefects in like each school year.
Yeah.
Like, maybe that's what
but it seems like 5th years are always elected to be prefects. What's the system here? What's going on?
Maybe
why was Cedric not head boy? Who's head boy?
I think maybe once you become a prefect in your 5th year, you stay on as a prefect for your rest of your time at Hogwarts, unless you become head boy or head girl. Maybe
or Quidditch captain. I think is the other thing. I think if you're Quidditch captain, you can't also. I think it's like a similar role in the system because Harry is a Quidditch captain. He doesn't become a prefect. He doesn't become a prefect.
Right.
Maybe it's just maybe what it is that you only can become a prefect in your 5th year.
So once you miss your opportunity, you can't be that.
But people don't really want to be prefects that often.
Yeah.
I feel like people get the
Unless
responsibility handed to them. Yes.
Yeah.
But I think you can become head boy and not be a prefect. I don't know.
I don't know.
That'd be a fun thing to research.
Yeah, for sure. But anyway, so the rest of the section kind of plays out as it does in the film for the most part. The song is a little bit different in the book than it is in the film. I like the way the film does it a little bit.
Points to the film from David.
Yeah,
that's a surprise.
I'll give it to that. I did talk to Jade about the first task, and she agrees with me. We'll see that comment here in a second.
Jade can be wrong as wrong can be.
No,
we already wrong. Happy birthday, Jade.
Spencer. Yeah, happy birthday, Jade. But I'm
going to get you a cake that says happy birthday. You were wrong.
Well,
sincerely, Spencer.
I hate to be the bearer of bad news, but you can't tell somebody that they're wrong if you've already been told that you're wrong. And I did that last episode. So that wrongness is canceled out. But I will say that one of the parts that I absolutely forgot about was the next scene that kind of ends this chapter, which is the whole Barty Crouch showing up on the Marauders map and Snape's office. That whole scene playing out with Mad-Eye Moody and Snape, and like, talk about a really tense situation for Harry to be in.
So smart writing to use the Marauders map trick again. Because in the last book we had Peter Pettigrew, who's believed to be dead, and in this one it's not quite that. It's Barty Crouch because it doesn't show junior or seniors.
Yeah,
it doesn't show which Barty Crouch it is, and because he has the same name as his father, which of course Barty Crouch named his son Barty Crouch. Just throwing that out there. Of course he did. Phenomenal, just really genius stuff.
Yeah, this scene was really, it was just fantastic. I think a really great way to end the chapter, because like, obviously for those of us who are rereading this, we already know Mad-Eye Moody is Barty Crouch Jr. using Polyjuice Potion. But like, the way that it's done in this, like, it's just done so well, because Mad-Eye Moody in this section is just like, oh yeah, well, I've searched your office too, so like, I got my eye on you, and you and Potter have something going on, like, against each other, or you have secrets, or this and that, and like, all of this is, and Harry's just watching all of this like unfold. Again, this is a 4th year who's in the Triwizard Tournament when he shouldn't be, knowing things and being involved with things and hearing things that he shouldn't. Like, Harry just always finds himself in these kinds of situations. But I think one of my favorite parts is definitely when Harry lets Mad-Eye Moody know, hey, that paper is mine. Like don't let him get it. And he's just like, Accio map. And oh man, just a great
Accio parchment.
Snape is just unhinged in this whole section of the book. Also, I did some Googling. Figure out the answer to our question. This might be this could honestly be an episode topic, walking through who's been prefects and what qualities that brings in characters in Harry Potter and stuff. But You are elected in your 5th year, and you continue to do it until you graduate, unless you're like, a bad prefect, I guess. Not that there's any record of that happening. And so there's always 6 prefects per house at a time. And then the Harry Potter Wiki shout out gave a good example of how you just because a prefect increases your chances of becoming a head boy, like Percy's case, but it does not guarantee your spot as a head boy or head girl. The example of it being that Lupin was made a prefect, but James Potter, who was not a prefect, was later chosen to be head boy as he matured a bit. And it's chosen, the head boy and head girl is chosen specifically by the headmaster. So it's headmaster, obviously professors, head students, of which there's 6, or sorry, is that right? 8. And then the head students are over the prefects.
That makes sense.
So anyway, carry on. Sorry.
Well, no, that's all right. And that takes us
that always
to
bothered me. That always bothered me in podcast episodes where we don't explain the thing, and then I'm like, oh, I'm gonna have to pause the podcast episode, go look it up. So yeah, I did it for you guys. You're welcome.
Yeah, but chapter 26, the second task. This was bonkers chapter. Because obviously Harry confides everything to Ron and Hermione about what he heard the previous night. They talk about whether Moody or Mr. Crouch has been hired to kind of keep an eye on Karkaroff and on Snape, to where Harry sends a letter to Sirius updating him about what he goes. Sirius responds saying he wants to know the day of their next Hogsmeade visit. But then what we see most of this time is Harry trying to figure out how to complete this underwater under an hour challenge for the next task. And they try everything, poring over books in the library, and just not being
Victor
able to
Crumb
find
is
that
also
answer.
in the library. Always in the library.
No, not in this part.
Crumb.
He's in he's in the lake.
Yeah, he's in the lake already with this.
Oh, that's right.
He's already getting ready.
Have trouble buying that Hermione herself, and then Ron and Harry, who are not nearly as good as looking through books, could not find the bobblehead charm. I
also thought that.
Or gillyweed. I think both of those are seemingly well known by the judges at the table.
Yeah, I'm really shocked that they couldn't find anything at all.
And maybe because Cedric figured it out. So it's not like headmasters are holding hands of all, like Cedric doesn't have Dumbledore holding his hand like Fleur and Victor did. So it makes more sense that they would have more, like Fleur would probably be told by Madame Maxine, but I'm like, where are you learning outside of school? Oh, the bubblehead charm. It's good for going underwater.
Yeah. I agree. I had a hard time trying to understanding that they couldn't find a single thing, something that he could do.
It's convenient.
Yeah, but I do love the fact that Dobby does come back in this episode, and he is the one who gets him the gillyweed and all that. And now that we've read through we're reading through the book, it makes sense for, I guess, Dobby to be the one to bring it to him, only because he's been he's been in this book. It's not him just showing up for one scene in the entire book, and then
if my memory serves me right, Moody gave the book to Neville in the hope that Harry would find it. And that would get the information from him. And because that failed, the very last second, he got Dobby to do it.
Yes. Yeah. I read ahead.
I was going to say, Cole, thank you for confirming that. No, it's okay, Cole. That's what Abby always does. So it's good that we have somebody that did that. Abby's like, okay, I read the whole book. I was like, we're doing it piece by piece.
Yeah, she did that for Cursed Child, which for us, it was like a brand new experience. And so we were coming up with these things, and I was just like, oh,
like, Abby, you're killing us. Happy birthday, Abby. We miss you.
Happy birthday, Abby. Yeah, we do.
Have a good time with your baby, though, at the same time.
She had a baby?
Anyway, gillyweed. Gillyweed. But so basically everything kind of plays out the way that we see in the film. He eats the gillyweed.
Is it weird that I kind of want to try gillyweed though?
I do.
No, I thought the exact same thing. I'm like, they must honestly, but for me, I'm like, oh, they're like gummy worms. Is what
it would hurt like heck, but
it probably would.
It's disgusting from my understanding.
It tastes disgusting.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'd do it.
I'm gonna say I still think the movie's better. My preemptive moments going into reading this was like, is the movie better though? Like, I was trying to give David the benefit of the doubt. Because I was like, oh, well, the movies made the mermaids really weird. And then it turned out, no.
They were
the mermaids
really weird
are that weird. Because when he finally meets the mermen and mermaids, he's like, oh, they're nothing like the picture in the prefect's bathroom. Shout out to the movies. Only one. They don't exactly sound very nice underwater as well as over water. So point to David. But swimming all the way from the beach to the middle of the lake doesn't make as much sense as what they did getting on the boats, going out to the middle of the lake.
Mm-hmm.
That's in an hour exactly. I wanted to note that Harry's afraid of the giant squid. I'm like, we just established that the giant squid's a good guy. He pulled Dennis Creevy out of the water at the beginning of this school year. So he's a good guy. We love the giant squid.
We're giant
he likes
squid
to play
stands.
in the water. Sorry. Side note. Love the giant squid. That's our next character study, listeners. Character study. The giant squid. We'll drop that episode on Thanksgiving.
The Thanksgiving episode's my favorite.
Yeah, the Thanksgiving episodes, which we always do. That's definitely something we're going to do again. Anyway, I just think there's points to the movie here. I think it was really well done.
I'm with Spencer on this one because I do like that they were already out in the middle of the lake because,
because other than that piece of them being in the middle of the lake, it plays out the same way.
Yeah.
They could have had mermen
that laugh
instead
at
of
them.
Just mermaids. They have to reproduce somehow. But
life finds a way.
I was going to try and make another Jeff Goldblum reference, but I'm out. Jeff Goldblum should play a character in the reboot, though.
Dumbledore.
Oh, no. Stop, Cole. Listen, I've already had to listen to Spencer's shenanigans for the last 5 minutes. I don't need you adding to it.
And then he died.
No. I'm not going to necessarily say that the book is better. I just think that there's way too many cringy moments in the film that it can't be better, in my opinion. Like Harry doing a backflip out of the water, be like, yeah, like while Neville's doing it, like that's so stupid. Like to me, that's just
fits the movie though. The movie's bombastic and ridiculous, so it slides in right there. And they had swim trunks. He should not be swimming in his robes. And I get it. Harry was late, but everybody but Crumb was in their robes. Why? They knew what they were doing. They knew what they were getting into.
I don't know.
But yeah, I just think when you're taking a look at it, they're virtually the same. So you're really just looking at where they leave and where they enter. And in that small piece, I think it's better.
I know, because of that stupid flip thing, like that just cancels everything out. Because again, it's so stupid. And just by saying, well, the whole film's like that, doesn't mean, I think it makes the point that the film is not better than the book. One. So
whatever. I still think the first task is better. And just in case I don't make it to the next episode, it's not a trio. I think the third task in the book is better than the movie.
Yeah.
Plot twist. I know listeners might have thought Spencer's full Goblet of Fire movie all the way. That is not the case for many reasons.
Again, just so everyone remembers this from the first task.
Give him a break. He was on a green screen. It's not Tom Cruise. Couldn't get a real flying magic broom. Anyway.
Oh, cut out for a second. Now I'm back.
You're back. He's back.
Yeah. But yeah, first task, that's all you need to remember from it. And that's why the book is better, period. And then the backflip thing for the second task. That's why the book is better, period.
Such a small reason. And in the reboot, they're going to go all the way from
never mind.
And it's not going to be entertaining.
No. I'm just... The second task, I don't think neither one are better. I think each one has the detractions that keeps them from being
the best. I'll meet that compromise.
Yeah,
I'll take you up on that.
Do that.
I'll accept it.
Yeah, but I think I am. It's really funny whenever you're hearing the description of Crumb. It's like he did his. Crumb did the
transfiguration.
His charm and transfiguration, and it was awful. But then Kargroff's just so stupid. Like, he's so dumb. I hate him.
He's a big whip.
Yeah. I think it's interesting. I do like the part of like the mer people going to Dumbledore and be like, well, Harry's the one who's got there first, but he tried to save everyone, and that's why he was late, and then rescued somebody that wasn't even his. Like, I think to me that was a really cool part of this. And then I love Hermione giving not the cold shoulder, but pretty much ignoring Crumb. Didn't really give him two thoughts really, and after he saved her life or whatever.
Before we transition to the next chapter, Cole, do you have any thoughts about the second task that you would like to mention?
Not really.
What's your best mermaid impression from the movie?
Oh my gosh, you know what? I don't know because I haven't. It sounds kind of like I don't know. It's been a while since I've watched the movie, like last year.
One more point to the book. We didn't get Dumbledore speaking Mermish outside of the water going.
No, yeah.
I don't know what I would have done, but I would have loved to have seen Michael Gambon Dumbledore doing that.
Do that.
Would have lived to see that. But I think it would make the book probably a more boring book. But the Triwizard Tournament just feels like this gigantic distraction from the actual plot lines of the book. And the movie just ignores those plot lines entirely, for the most part. And so I just feel, especially reading this book again, I wanted to read this plot line and pull the thread all the way out. And so getting into the next chapter where it says Padfoot returns, I'm like,
right. Yeah.
Yeah, he does. The cow.
The cow. Yeah. I absolutely agree with you in that. Like, you're 100% right. When it comes to the actual Triwizard Tournament, it's almost as if it's kind of like a palate cleanser for like all of the plot lines that we are getting, all the other stories happening outside of the Triwizard Tournament. And this is kind of just like, all right, we're going to take a break for that for a little bit. We're going to do the second task. And then, boom, let's give you another fire chapter with Padfoot, at the next one. And because that's the one you're really interested in.
I feel like if you're like a kid, like young adult reading this, you're not as interested in these parts, which is why I like this parts. But the regular fans, they want something to keep them going. And so the Triwizard Tournament gives them that action sequence or whatever they're looking for.
Yeah. Yeah. But like you said, let's get into Padfoot Returns, chapter 27. So in the aftermath of the second task, Ron finally gets to share some of the limelight with Harry, and we get to hear how the story started off kind of as it happened, and as the weeks go on, it just got more crazy and insane. Which again, we Ron needed a little bit of a win, I guess, in this situation, and he
Hermione put him in his place.
Yep, she did. She did.
What'd you do? Snore at them?
But then we get to see Hermione, that again, this kind of rivalry with Rita Skeeter is starting to pick up now, because we get this which is weekly article about how she's toying with the hearts of both Harry and Victor, which is absolutely insane. I love her response to it initially, where she just kind of laughs and she's like, man, she's really losing her touch if she thinks that this is going to get to me.
Love that.
Which is awesome. But Snape is the absolute worst in this. And I thought it was already bad enough when Malfoy and Harry earlier in the book were trying to hit each other with curses, but Hermione got hit with the curse. Her teeth were coming up, and then Snape was just like, I see no difference. This one,
Snape is a horrible person.
Yeah,
we should not love Snape. No one should be getting tattoos of Snape.
Yeah,
he's not a great character. Yeah. He's a horrible person.
I still believe that most of the love for Snape comes from Alan Rickman, who his Snape was not as bad as this. Like, clearly, it's not as bad as what
maybe that's
here.
A good thing. I don't know.
I think so too.
I don't know if it's a good thing that we'd be exposed in such a big movie format to such a bad person, such bad teaching,
and I think doesn't make you think
that Hogwarts itself is a good place.
Yeah, I think that's true, because absolutely agree.
He's abusive, pretty much,
very, very much so. And I think that even to the extent to which you would find it very hard to believe that
Dumbledore would allow him to teach there.
Would allow him to teach there, or you would also believe that Severus at the end of the day is the good guy. Like, because after reading,
maybe that's the point, but
after rereading it, like about 2 years ago, or whenever we did that read through to kind of get prepared for the show, like when I got to Deathly Hallows and I got to the part to where Harry was talking about, Albus Severus Potter, like, and he said, 2 of the bravest people I ever knew. I was like, okay, Dumbledore, yes, but Snape, like, I don't know, like, after reading the books again, I just didn't get that sentiment, like, at all.
I don't know. We'll see. I feel this way now, but by the time we get to Deathly Hallows, I'm gonna be like, Snape, you dog.
Yeah.
Like it is intense bravery to stand up to the Dark Lord like that.
Yeah, it's true.
And him being ultimately a good guy, but man, is he a horrible human being anyway.
Yeah.
Like it shouldn't completely redeem his character.
And I do have a thought, but I'm not going to share it right now. I guess I'll share it later on once we get to that part in the Deathly Hallows. But just kind of moving on, we hear then a conversation between Snape and Karkaroff.
Here's a question I have about that scene.
Okay.
Because I'm following along in the book. How do they know what armadillos are? Because they have armadillo bile. Poured out enough armadillo bile. How do they know what armadillos are? That's an American thing.
Are they not? Are they only in the United States?
I'm pretty
probably
sure.
But that doesn't matter. You just order your potion supplies.
Yeah.
And American wizards are a thing.
That's
but
true.
it is
Yeah, that's true.
It is very specific. Armadillo bile.
Armadillo bile. It's so out of place, but okay.
It's hard to come by. Yeah. But anyway, so Karkaroff shows off something on his upper
that's why
arm.
I brought for this episode.
Yeah, that's right.
No.
For show and tell.
You're putting
my
that
prop
on his
for
head.
this episode.
Yeah.
I haven't gotten out my prop yet.
I don't have a prop. No, I
didn't bring anything this time.
I was wondering what you guys were going to bring this time.
Well, I was gonna do the thing Dobby does where he wears like 15 hats, but that didn't happen in this section, so I felt out of place to do that. I must be really late in the book. Or it might be in Order of the Phoenix, and I just forgot.
It's in Order of the Phoenix, I think.
You're right.
Mm.
I was afraid it was, but it's okay.
Such a.
I wish
book.
Spew ended with this book, but apparently that's not the case.
It's going to continue. It's one of the best storylines of all of Harry Potter.
And that's what's missing from the reboot. That's what's going to make it truly great.
Yeah.
Edit, my God. Anyway.
Yeah, but then we get to meet Padfoot. We get to see Sirius in this section. They go off to a nearby cave at Hogsmeade where Sirius has been hiding and living off rats, which is truly sad. And we get to hear Sirius's side of the information that he knows, which is super, super cool. Again, anytime that Sirius shows up in a book, in a film, it's always a treat. You're always going to get greatness. And I love, again, it's the idea that even though he's like disconnected, he's really not in terms of like his knowledge and his headspace, what he knows about people, and him kind of helping Harry, Ron, Hermione think through the things that they've, especially with Harry, that Harry has experienced up to this point. Like, I think even though he hasn't been with Harry, spent really any significant time with Harry, Sirius has done an amazing job as a godfather ever since he's come back into Harry's life. Like, in communication with him, helping him out, even though he can't be with him. And this is just a great chapter in the book for me.
I love the when he asks Sirius, "What are you doing here?" He's fulfilling my duty as godfather.
Yeah. Yeah.
I love this guy. I mean, he's just a great character. And he also pulls out like exactly, it's a smart way of showing us exactly what we need to be paying attention to in the book. Like the details. Like he's like, Barty Crouch he didn't go to the top box. No. His wand was stolen in the top box. Like, they figure out that piece of it, but we still don't know anything about Barty Crouch Jr. It's just really genius.
Yeah. Oh, do you have anything in this section?
Nah, just that I kind of like what you said. It's great to see Padfoot.
Yeah, for sure.
Okay, this is a great quote, though. Oh, go ahead.
He was like, chicken. Chicken.
I don't know how they would do this, but when they describe his laugh, it's almost like a bark of a dog.
Yeah, they do.
Need this. I need to see that. I want to experience that. So that's little details like that I would love to see in a reboot. Whether we actually see it or not is to be honestly at this point with the writers and actors strikes we have going on actively at the moment. Yeah,
this has been put on pause for sure. It's going to take more time.
They haven't announced anything, so I think they're just really hush hush about everything. But great quote here. Hermione, will you give it a rest with the elf? Said Ron. Sirius shook his head and said, she's got the measure of Crouch better than you have, Ron. If you want to know what a man's like, take a good look about how he treats his inferiors, not his equals. Just
that's one of my favorite Sirius quotes. I forgot it was.
It's one of my favorite quotes. It's from Sirius, but it's one of my favorite quotes in the whole series, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
And he tells so many stories about the First Wizarding War too, which we don't get. We don't really see.
Yeah, you're right.
We don't learn much about it, and so, and he's almost like, you're too young, and Ron's like, try us. All right, I'll try you. Like, Sirius is just he likes the kids. He wants to tell them. One note that I wanted to make about this chapter is that would it be so bad if Snape gave Harry if Harry was just like, yeah, Snape, just give me the truth potion.
Well, I thought the same thing.
I know it'd be bad.
Yeah.
But
I thought the same thing too.
He's telling the truth.
He is telling the truth, but you know that's not going to be the only question he asks him.
I know.
He's going to ask him so many things, and he's not going to be able to stop. Like the fact, like once he said, "Oh, he could probably get out of me where Sirius is, and find him." Like to me, that was enough for me to be like, "Yeah, I get you. I get you." Not.
Yeah, but
not
it was just
revealing
frustrating because like
it is super
Harry,
frustrating. Again,
some
awful.
sassy Harry did get to come out though, where he's like, "Good, I'll keep that in mind if I ever have the urge to go in there."
Yeah, that was a good line. Yeah, loved it.
There's no need to call me Sir Professor. Still his best.
Yeah,
that's in Half-Blood Prince. I just love Harry's sassiness, and he really he really keeps it all together. I'm kind of surprised at his tactfulness here.
Well, and that's the thing. Like we always talk about,
get himself into tension or something for Malvin off.
We always talk about Ron having like amazing one-liners of just comedic gold, but Harry has a lot of like one-liners that roast people, burns people.
He has a different.
alive.
Yeah, he has a different. He also has a different personality, and I like how it shows the differences between them. Yeah, Harry is he roasts and sasses all over the place.
Yeah,
and he gets that from his swine of a dad.
Correct.
yeah, absolutely.
Your father was a swine.
Yeah, great stuff. So,
it took a few books to get used to Jim Dale's version of Snape over. Do you know what this?
Do you know what this is? Verictus, and I might just slip over your pumpkin juice. Yeah.
Goodness. But really great chapter.
Great chapter. Fantastic. 10 out of 10. Would definitely read it again.
Personal experiences from Azkaban being good as well.
Yeah. The Madness of Mr. Crouch, chapter 28.
One of my favorite chapters, honestly, because this is where it all kind of trickles down. The dam starts to break.
Yeah, everything
100%.
starts to fall apart in this section. I mean, we get so many different ideas. So obviously we get another spew scene to start off with them going to the kitchens, Ron, Harry, and Hermione, because Harry's giving Dobby several new pairs of socks as thanks for the gillyweed. Dobby is ecstatic. The house elves are happy to see them and to serve them, obviously, except for Winky, who he continues to be just a completely just a miserable drunk at this point.
An embarrassment on house elf kind, as they point out.
Yes, they do point that out. But Hermione is still upset and wants the freedom for the house elves and tries to do this rah kind of speech, and they end up being like, you have to go. We don't want to hear any of this. And Ron's just upset. He's like, way to go. We could have asked Winky for more information about Mr. Crouch, and this is like, oh, stop it, Ron. You just wanted more food.
I think it's both.
Want. I think it
Ron
is both.
has good intentions.
Yeah.
And just classic Ron and Hermione snapping at each other all the time.
Yeah.
He got so sick of them, he just left Gryffindor Tower.
Yeah. But it starts to get crazy because Hermione is now getting hate letters for breaking Harry's heart.
Oh no!
It's this the one where she gets
like Weasley doesn't write a letter, but she also doesn't.
Doesn't she? I get, because I was thinking this too. Is it in this book or is it in Order of the Phoenix to where she treats Hermione kind of coolly because of?
No, it's this one. It's later in the. I don't remember. She said something to Harry and Ron, and then she said something like
mediocre
to Hermione.
Yes,
Hermione's
I think it was for Easter.
Yeah, and Hermione's
so we haven't gotten to that yet.
Your mom no, it was in this part of the book, but
is it? I guess I missed it.
Well, she goes, Ron, your mom doesn't read Witch Weekly, does she? And Ron goes, yeah, for the recipes.
Crazy. Yeah, it's
Ron's
crazy.
family cracks me up. I love the Weasleys.
They're great. They're fantastic.
Nifflers.
Yay!
Yep, Nifflers in this. Super cool.
Forgot about that.
Yeah.
Everyone does. I forgot about them. Every time I read it, I am like, wow, we had Nifflers in the series. And then we never hear from them again.
Nope.
None of them are as iconic as Teddy.
No.
But they're great Nifflers.
Mm-hmm.
Niffler, Cole. That's what I got to get my daughter. She needs a Niffler.
I can set you up.
Priorities. Yeah.
I got
priorities.
We got her, what was his name? From Shang-Chi. Morris.
I was gonna get her a Hedwig, but for Harry
that would
Potter,
be good too.
But
Teddy,
we're trying to. I like Teddy.
Got to raise them in the fundamentals.
Oh yes.
Yeah. But anyway, as we continue in this section, what we see then is the champions kind of walking through the Quidditch pitch with the maze and the obstacle course with the Triwizard Cup at the center. Then on the way back, Crumb pulls Harry aside to talk about his relationship with Hermione. Which Harry's just like, no, we're just friends, honestly. Like,
no.
But then Barty Crouch Sr. shows back up, deranged, mad, crazy, all of this stuff. Talking about Bertha Jorkins was his fault. The Dark Lord was getting stronger. He had to see Dumbledore.
And Barty Crouch Jr. went and got him and is using the Imperious Curse, right? That's what I thought.
Well,
that's
no,
why he
I thought
breaking through the curse. Oh. He's not actually mad.
Yeah. Well, I thought that I guess I read that section wrong too, but we'll get to that part later.
I think Barty Crouch, because Harry sees Barty Crouch on the Marauders map. And maybe that was Wormtail's mistake because he knows about the map and didn't warn Barty and Voldemort about it.
Yeah. Yeah, that makes sense. But what we see in this and the rest of this section is Snape is a punk, just wasting time instead of getting Dumbledore, fetching to get him and all that kind of stuff. But when he and Dumbledore arrive in the forest, they find Crumb, who's stunned, and Mr. Crouch is gone. Hagrid and Moody arrive, followed by Karkaroff, which gets all of this kind of crazy stuff because Karkaroff thinks that this is a plot by Hogwarts to knock out their champion. You have two champions in it. Now this is happening. We're done. We're calling this off. This is not going to be good. Again, we see Hagrid's loyalty because Karkaroff says some stuff about Dumbledore and Hagrid just goes into protective mode and picks up Karkaroff, who I'm just like, yes, this is awesome. I need more of this. And this is basically, kind of how the chapter ends with just all this chaos. It's craziness at this point.
I want to note this chapter or the next chapter could both have alternate titles of Hermione gets bothered that no one read Hogwarts: A History.
Yep.
But
I think it's the best moment. It's the next one for sure. Yeah.
Well, this one has it too. I think it is in the next one too. But I just love that they use that as a plot point where Hermione gets irritated that they haven't, and then she explains exposition that explains the universe or whatever that they need at the time. And so she goes, "Aren't you two ever going to read Hogwarts: A History?" "What's the point?" said Ron. "You know it by heart. We can just ask you." Because they get back into it because they can't. They think Barty Crouch apparated out of Hogwarts, but
which you can do on the bridge, but not inside Hogwarts.
Apparently,
yeah,
that's a movie thing, Fantastic Beasts thing.
Yes,
but yeah.
Yeah. But
and then Harry manages. Oh, he doesn't. He manages to guess it in the next chapter too. But
yeah, but as we're running a little bit short on time, chapter 29, yes. The Dream. So again, this is
not in the movie at all.
Yeah, not in the movie. It's a pretty great chapter. We see Fred and George. Their story with Bagman comes back into play as they're blackmailing him and sending a letter. At the same time that
we
Harry's
still don't
out a
know
letter,
it's Bagman.
Serious.
We still don't know who they're writing about and who to.
This is probably me from reading this book.
I know what it's about.
Yeah, I know what it's about.
It's frustrating that it still hasn't been revealed
at this point. But later, after they all send their letters and everything like that, the trio go and they visit Professor Moody, who says that Mr. Crouch was not showing up on the Marauders map, which was odd, as he didn't really seem in a kind of state to where he could have really left the premises quickly. Moody warns Harry that he needs to be more careful, which Sirius also warns him to be careful because there's someone who's after Harry, and he says that he needs to prepare for the third task with his friends. But then a couple of days afterwards in divination class, Harry falls asleep and he dreams of flying on an owl into a house which has Voldemort is reprimanding Wormtail for some mistake, noting that someone unnamed is dead and foretelling that Harry will soon be dead as well and fed to Nagini. Then Voldemort applies the Cruciatus Curse to Wormtail, causing Harry to wake up screaming and clutching a scar, where he leaves to go and tell Dumbledore in his office, and then he hears Fudge and Moody arguing with Dumbledore. And then that's whenever the chapter ends with Moody seeing Harry through the door and announcing his arrival. Which this happens after in the film, this happens after they find Barty Crouch Sr.'s body.
I forgot that something that was for exclusively in the movie was the weird tongue thing with Barty Crouch Jr.
That was definitely a David Tennant thing.
Cole, it is. Yeah, I was gonna say, Cole, it is good to have you, a Dr. Whovian, to report on the topic.
As I'm reading through this, I just don't. David Tennant was not the person to put that for. Like, he did great in the film. Mm-hmm. Not gonna knock that, but just the book's description and how he acts in the book is very different, not David Tennant-y.
Well, and the movie just makes him out and out evil, whereas people in the books, it's not. They think maybe he was just in the wrong place at the wrong time, and Crouch was too hasty. And the book really does its work to try to make Barty Crouch Jr. seem to be like a victim.
Yeah, it really does. Because again, I mean, that's what we see in the Pensieve chapter, this upcoming chapter, is where we really see that come to play. Because I was also thinking the same thing while reading that chapter, and we can just go ahead and jump into it.
Yeah, we should.
The different scenes that Harry is taken through in the Pensieve. It's crazy because we get Karkaroff being in the chair in the first one, giving off so many names, including Snape, where Dumbledore stands up and he vouches for Snape because he's working as a spy for the good side. So that's the first scene. Second scene is Ludo Bagman sitting in the chair, pleading that he didn't realize that he was working for Voldemort supporters. And again, the crowd, the people there,
popularity.
Yeah, because he's a Quidditch player and he's awesome and fantastic and just did all these crazy things. So
boo sports.
He's an idiot, but he plays sports well.
Yeah,
boo sports.
He's a great beater for England.
Yeah, for sure. But then we get the third time, and it's Mr. Crouch's son who's in the center of the room, who's pleading to be let go.
Let me go, father.
Yeah, I was gonna say Jim Dale's voice kind of gave me anxiety listening to that.
But it goes along to Cole's point. This character completely changed in the film than it was in the books, to where, like, obviously in this one, it's he saying he didn't do it. I'm not involved. It wasn't me. This and this and that. But in the film, it was just like, "Hello, father." Sticking the tongue out and all that kind of stuff.
You are no son of mine.
Yeah. You're no son of mine.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
You are no son of mine. That's for the YouTube kids.
Yeah, that's for the YouTube kids.
That's for the YouTube kids. A few more. You can't disapparate on the grounds.
Yeah.
I love, and this is from the last chapter, I know, but I love Ron going, wait a second. What if Crumb attacked Crouch and then he stunned himself?
Well, because like Ron was feeling left out.
Crouch just evaporated. Oh yeah.
But it's because Ron was feeling left out because like Harry had been saying, "Oh, you should consider a career in."
That was in the serious. That was in the.
That
was a different bit.
Oh, never mind then.
But still hilarious. Just then stunned himself. But yeah, the Pensieve chapter is awesome. It's a lot. I understand why the movie shortened it to one scene.
Yeah.
I don't want to talk about the Pensieve. I'm still in the middle of Hogwarts Legacy. I'm getting irritated with all these Pensieve scenes.
Oh.
Yeah, it's true, because there's only like one in the entire universe, and the Pensieve and the TikTokers are kind of right about this. The Pensieve and the Veritaserum are both like, and the Killing Curse for that matter, are all like groundbreaking. Like every situation can kind of be resolved by one of those three things. Like if the Killing Curse is unblockable, then what's the purpose of that? Like, how is that avoidable? So they have to do all these writing to get out. She must not be named, has to do a bunch of writing to get out of that. The Pensieve, but only Dumbledore has the Pensieve, and not everybody has a Pensieve. But if we did, that would be pretty useful to solve Sirius's false accusations. You could pick up you could pull Harry's dreams and re-experience them in the Pensieve. Like, there's a lot of usefulness that they don't use. And then the Veritaserum, of course. If you give that to Sirius, then he has to tell the truth.
That's true.
It's not a lie detector.
No such thing as truth serum. Wait, we're crossing the movie references.
Well, I guess
that's like truth serum.
Yeah, I guess what I would say,
it's called Veritaserum. That's why I call it truth serum.
Yeah,
but yes,
what I would say for in Sirius's case, I mean, the reason why he was upset was because Barty Crouch Sr. just sent him straight to Azkaban without a trial.
Which like the movie did not establish that.
It did not establish that. Yeah, the book did. And so, but yeah, I mean, a lot of situations could be solved with the Pensieve or with, truth serum.
It's just is what it is.
It is what it is.
I'm just acknowledging it.
Yeah, for sure. But after this, we kind of end this chapter with Dumbledore pulling Harry out of the room, back into his office, where he kind of explains about the Pensieve, a holder for excess thoughts and memories.
Longbottom's parents.
Yeah, that's a crazy thing. I think it's crazy that Harry does tell Dumbledore about his dream, and that Dumbledore expresses his belief that this dream is probably true, that Voldemort is on the rise and he's near and dangerous. Talks about the disappearances of Bertha, Mr. Crouch, Frank Price, which takes us back to the very first chapter of this book. And then we kind of see, kind of the conclusion about Neville's parents, that they were popular Aurors who went insane after being hit with the Cruciatus Curse. Explains Neville living with his grandmother, all this kinds of stuff.
The dam is broken for sure, though, as Cole said. Like, everything's coming unwrought. And it's almost like, I mean, how this ends with Dumbledore just like tired, telling Harry,
Yeah.
Good luck with the third task. It's almost like they should call it off.
Yeah.
They probably should, but it's just not enough to call it off. But like with Barty Crouch's disappearance, I feel like that would have been a reason to call it off. But it's just not enough, and so they do the third task, and that's how it ends. But that's the final kicker for Voldemort's plan. But
yeah, but insane section of reading this time for this episode. Like Spencer said, this is probably one of the best ones. And as Cole said, the dam has broken open. And we're gonna get to the aftermath.
Ain't no piece of chewing gum that's gonna fix that crack in the dam.
Yeah, for sure.
The only part that could be better is the last part.
Is the very last part, which we're going to get to here in the next episode. So thank you so much for joining us on this. If you are interested in seeing more of our episodes, make sure to subscribe to our podcast everywhere you get podcasts. Subscribe to our YouTube channel at Harry Potter Fanatics. And if you want to get more content on Instagram, it's hpotter_fanatics. But until next time, for Spencer and Cole, this is David for the Show of Requirements, Harry Potter podcast. And until next time, mischief managed.